EPs having a meltdown when they can't bully colleges into enrolling their kids. Yeah, it was that time of year. Well, this did not directly happen to me. I was able to see it a few times in school, and it was hilarious. My school is one of the hardest in the state, hence why it provides a lot of opportunities for great colleges. I'm currently a senior, and I know exactly where I want to go. I understand how important my grades are our junior and senior year, and I have to take it a lot more serious than I did my first years. You do hard work and you get rewarded for it. Unfortunately, a lot of students and parents in my area don't agree with this sentiment. I live in a fairly upper-class town, not rich, but pretty well off, so it's not surprising that a lot of people live here are stuck-up snobs. There's a notorious gang of entitled parents that was known for all through elementary and middle school for threatening and bribing the school to let their kids pass and give them second chances. They mostly got away with this behavior for a good 8 years, but then college applications rolled around, and ooh boy, did these entitled parents lose their minds. Here's the thing they refuse to accept. Colleges are not high schools. I've heard from a lot of older friends who graduated their college wasn't as stressful as our school. They are not obligated to put up with entitled parents. They will not be bullied into demands, and you're sure not going to get away with trying to bribe your precious baby into their schools. The only way you're getting into those schools is through hard work and good behavior, both of which the schools of each entitled parent had none of. On to the rage. I remember walking into school at around 6:30 a.m. to meet with my guidance counselor, only to hear screaming and shouting coming from the student resources room. I straight up grimaced because I had to wait in there for my counselor, and I knew what they were yelling about too. I walk in, and what do you know? The Karen squad is surrounding one of the staff and berating her about the college admissions. These parents were demanding that they contact the college about why their kids were rejected, and when the person told them that they can't do that at the moment, the parents exploded. I have to sit across from this one's mom, who's red-faced and looks like she's about to kill someone. All because her precious little angel didn't get accepted to her dream school. Thankfully, I got called back into my counselor's office pretty early. We went over which of the schools on my list I wanted to attend. I asked her why the people outside were so angry, what the people outside were so angry about, and she said parents not getting what they want. It happened every single year. When I'm leaving, I literally hear people screeching in the hallway. It's Karen on her phone, spewing venom at a college admin for explaining why her daughter was not accepted. She was threatening him with imaginary charges, and even physical violence. My guess is the dude on the other end laughed and hung up on her. She started screaming and slamming her purse on the ground right after. So it was really funny watching entitled parents stomp their feet and cry when they learned that their manipulation tactics don't work on the education system anymore. They've been harassing and threatening their child's journey through school for so many years that when their power is finally taken away, they throw a toddler-level tantrum and scream how it's unfair. Okay, so this was posted by Diving Enthusiasts. Okay, well, so if I think I read right, you said that she bribed teachers into giving them A's and stuff. Is that what it said? But basically, bribing the school to let their kids pass and give them second chances. Oh, that wasn't smart. They should have bribed the teachers into giving them A's. That way, they would have been accepted. But I mean, this is better for diving enthusiast and the college if they know what they're getting into. So this is okay. I mean, it's not, you don't expect an entitled parent to be smart like that. On to the next. Okay. Classmates' parents refused to give me any food because I had apparently sinned. I was probably 5, and I wasn't very proficient with English since I had immigrated from China. I knew very little about the language when this happened. Schoolmates' parents invited me over to have dinner while my parents were out. There are a couple of things you should know from back then. This was a very religious family, while my parents were atheist, agnostic at the time. The kid and I did not like each other. We sat down to dinner, and as soon as everyone was seated, I took a bite like we did at home. That was when the mother reached across the table and yanked the plate away from me. In this house, she said, glaring at me, we pray before we eat. We are not heathens. I looked at my classmate to see what to do. I put my hands together like he did. Not like that, she screamed. Apparently, I need to fold my hands properly. I did as I was told. The dad then proceeded to give what had to be the longest prayer ever. It probably wasn't long at all, but I was 5, hungry, didn't really understand what was happening. I had never heard a prayer before. After he finished, the mom looked at me and said, "For stealing from God, you will wait until after we finish before you eat." She then lectured me on how awful I was and how I was going to hell for not praying properly or knowing about prayer. Reminder, I was 5 years old. My classmate said he wanted seconds when he was done with his plate. She handed him a plate. I didn't get dinner. I started crying, hungry, 5 years old, She was screaming at me to stop crying. I was ruining dinner for everyone. This was when my mother rang the doorbell. I jumped up and ran to her in tears. Suddenly, the family was all smiles and pleasantness. She told my mom I was picky, so I wouldn't eat my food. So I was probably hungry. We got out of the car and my mother asked what really happened. I was not a picky eater. I'd eat anything. Still will. I told her everything. My mother stormed out of the car, pounded on the door, and gave the woman a piece of her mind. To this day, I wonder what sect of Christianity they claim to be. Which section of Christianity they claim to be. Because even though I'm not Christian, I've known many years, and I'm pretty sure God never said to treat someone else's kid badly before. Yeah. The fact that they lied about it. I guess that's normal for entitled people. Yeah. Well, let's see. So, what section of Christianity they claim to be? Let me think. I'm not sure. Probably not one. They're probably just really, really bad people. I don't know. Let's go. This was also posted by Hopeless Cynic. Wait, what? You profile, Hopeless Cynic. Yeah, it's just that. I thought that was something else. Okay. Entitled Football Coach Tries to Have My Spine Broken. Hello everyone, I've been watching some videos on this subreddit, and it reminded me of something that happens to me as a kid. I played football, the American kind, also known as the better kind. For 11 years from kindergarten to sophomore year of high school, I had always loved it. It was a great way for me, a shorty, stocky guy, to release stress and show other kids that even though I was small, I could be strong. In 6th grade, my team was going against another larger school. Due to my shortness and how stocky and strong I was on the defensive line as nose guard, the guy who's directly across from the center. One thing I would do would be to, when the center moved the ball, jump through their legs and knock the ball of the quarterback's hands, causing a fumble and just generally being a problem for everyone on their team. The first half, I had caused 6 fumbles and recovered 3 of them for my team. The other team was livid. The coach was screaming and making a massive scene. He even started screaming at a referee to have me kicked out of the game. Their poor center was just broken. Sometimes I would be lined up between him and the player next to me, and rather than go for the ball, I'd go up for him, shoving him out of the way and powering through to try and tackle the person with the ball. It got to the point that the center wouldn't even try and stop me. The kid was taller than me and wider, but I guess it was mostly fat and that I was able to get underneath his pads and stand him up every time. I went against him. I did not have anything against the kid. I was just trying to do my job. At the beginning of the second half, I watched the coach of the other team take the center by the face mask, his helmet, and scream into the poor kid's face. I couldn't hear what he said, but I could see him literally frothing at the mouth in anger. Once we got in defense, I was surprised when my coach told me to stay off the field and talked with him. My dad was standing next to him, and he looked furious. I thought I did something wrong, and when I asked what was up, I was blown away. Apparently, the coach of the other team was so angry how I was causing problems for him that he told his center to pin me down beneath him and ram his face mask into my back. For those of you who don't know, there's a small spot between the shoulder pads and the pad protecting your tailbone on your lower back that is exposed and unprotected. The coach had apparently told his center to target that spot. They hit me there with his metal face mask over and over again. The next time I tried, I learned later, the exact words he used were, "Make it so that he can't walk out of here." Kick it. This was the center. The center was the coach's son. He was trying to get his own son to permanently injure me over a 6th grade football game. So what is a hormonal, angry teen hyped up on adrenaline supposed to do? Get revenge. Wait. Title parents. Revenge. Okay. This is a crossover in title parents and revenge. Okay. I tell my coach and my dad that I want back in, and I guess they thought that I was old enough that I knew what I was doing and agreed. I get back on the field and I walk right up to the line, getting down in front of the center. I wait, and as soon as the ball is hiked, the center jumps forward, thinking I was going to go for the ball. Instead, I had back up and ran around him. Before he could get up, I made sure to stomp my cleat down on the back of his calf as hard as I could, on accident. Of course, it didn't break the skin, but as anyone who have been cleated can tell you, it hurt. Like, a lot. And given that the kid was already kind of broken, he just laid on the ground and cried, while his dad looked like he was going to explode. Needless to say, the center was taken out of the game, and my team's team rolled them from the second half. Probably the best part of the whole thing was when we were shaking hands with the opposing team. I got to stare their dad right in the face as I shook his hand. The biggest grin plastered on my face. Yeah, I don't know much about soccer. Yeah, soccer, or is it football? No, I think it's football. I don't know much about football. But I don't think you're supposed to break people's backs. I mean, really? I don't know. Their spine. I don't know. This was made by Mr. Timms. Okay. Entitled mother screams at my boss that I should be fired. I just started working at a preschool. I had worked there for maybe 23 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, not 23. 2 to 3. That evening, we had a parents' dinner. The idea was for me to mingle and get to know the parents. I was nervous at the same time, excited. Honestly, earlier that day, the kids were out on the playground, and me and my colleagues were outside. However, I noticed that I had to change the diaper of one of the kids. Nothing out of the ordinary. My colleague is outside with the kids. I quickly go in with the kid, change the diaper, and go back outside. 1 hour later, the parents start to arrive. In walks entitled mother. And I had already had a bad feeling about her. We talk and mingle, but she creeped me out. She looked kind of insane. You know when you look at someone in the eye and they seem empty and always have that fake smile across their face? Yeah, that's her. Anyway, my hours passed and everything is fine. All of a sudden, entitled mother starts yelling at my boss. Apparently, a poor kid had a bruise on his forehead. Nothing big, no scratch, just a little bump. I mean, kids play all the time and get bruises. Anyway, she starts yelling at my boss, demanding to know how this happened. My boss was honest and said she didn't know what knew poor kid had been outside during the afternoon and mentioned that he was with me. For some reason, forgot to say my colleague's name, who had left for the evening. Entitled mom walks up to me, pulling her kid with her aggressively. "How could you let this happen?" she yells at me, drawing attention to the other parents. Remember, I'm new, trying to get to know the other parents, and super nervous. I tell her that I haven't seen him fall, cry, or hurt himself. We were outside, but that I left my colleague with the kids for a couple of minutes to change diaper. I asked the kid if he was in pain, and oops, sorry, I did something. I scratched something, and was in pain. And Pika said no. And entitled mother said, "Don't you lie, it hurts, doesn't it?" and presses her finger on his bruise. I mean, of course it hurts. You press your finger into a bruise. Stupid lady. Poor kid starts crying, obviously. See how responsible you've been. My kid is now crying because of you. Again, I explained. I wasn't there. My colleague was. I couldn't have done anything to prevent it. Also, that kids do in fact fall sometimes. And he has been fine all evening. Entitled mother Jen then starts yelling at my boss that I should be fired, I'm irresponsible, and that I should never have interaction with her kid again. This was super embarrassing because all the parents were in the same room. Everybody looked at us, not a good first impression. My boss is calm, collected, and repeats what I had just said to EM. Entitled mother grabs her kid aggressively, pulling him away from us, yelling that she's going to change preschool. Of course she didn't, and then pretended like nothing happened the next time she saw me. After the humiliation, I went to the office and had to take a breath because it was so embarrassing. My boss came in and reassured me that it's fine. It's not the first time this happened with this entitled mother. Anyways, I get that you can't be a mama bear, but don't press your finger aggressively into your child's bruise to prove your point. I hated her from that day on. Fun thing though, kid loved me, and the entitled mother didn't seem too pleased with that. I have more examples of entitled mothers and entitled dads from my time working there, usually over stupid stuff. Might add more stories in the future. Well, I think that is great. That is a great story. You should do that. And this is Sebastian94. This was actually 7 hours ago. And I will actually, can I see let's see profile. Follow. I will follow it. And eventually we will make a whole video about her. So we are 18 minutes in. So thanks for watching. And bye-bye.